Hello, Sammy here, back again with another video. I'm today doing an online interview and I'm here with Arjun Jung. First of all, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. How are you finding the lockdown so far?
Yeah, it's a strange one. It's a strange one. I'm sure it's stranger for some people. But it is what it is. I think you just have to kind of make the most of this period. A lot of good, as much as all the terrible bad that's happening from it, a lot of good will come out of it for certain people. And being an athlete, it kind of, these kind of small amounts of times are priceless because it just allows you to put in some work. Do you know what I mean?
So what have you been doing? Like, what have you been catching up on? Because obviously you can't like do as much as you probably would want to normally. But how are you just like keeping like ticking over?
Well, I'm quite fortunate that I live in a house where I've got a lot of equipment that I've gathered up over the last kind of couple of years, last 3, 4, 5 years. So I've got a nice garden. I've got my kind of football pitch set up in the back, so I've been trying to do what I usually do on a weekly basis, but with the more time, just kind of working that a little bit harder because I don't have to go to work. I don't have to do other kind of things which involve leaving the house.
Yeah.
So I'm here, I may as well put in that extra bit of work, running, plyometrics, doing gym work. So yeah, just basically been doing what I do on a weekly basis, but with the stuff I've got at
home. For you, you do a lot of things like coaching and playing. So just for people watching, what is everything that you do?
So at the moment, got my finger in quite a few pies. I've got so I'm playing, of course, 2 kind of forms, if you like. So I'm still playing the 11s, trying to work up the system. Hopefully this year can get pre-season at a Conference South club or any kind of National League club. That's my goal right now. Still playing small-sided. So in this last year was called up for England. So I'm now representing England on the 6-a-side form. Was lucky enough to play in the World Cup in October, so that was really good. In terms of coaching, I've been coaching for about 3, 4, 5 years now. I think about 5 years in total now. And in the last year, I've opened up my own academy. So that's been running for just over a year now. And that's called AJF Coaching, and I run that at a primary school near my house. Day job wise, I'm working as a PE teacher at a school in Hounslow, which isn't too far from me. So that's kind of how the company came about. Was working at the school, and then kind of ideas happened, and realised that I could use that school as a good kind of starter base for my own coaching.
Yeah, go ahead.
And then I do a little bit of agency work as well for a company called United Sports USA, who help late teens go to America for scholarships. So they enroll students who are about 15, 16, 17 years old. They see if their kids got kind of footballing ability, and they kind of take that and they try and help the children with their SATs and showcase videos and speaking to different colleges in America to then try and get them sent out there for scholarships.
And for you, you just mentioned playing for England 6-a-side and you went to the World Cup. How was that as an experience? Because it's something different because you've been playing more 11-a-side. So playing 6-a-side, yeah. What was it? What was the differences, and how did you find it?
To be honest, I've been playing as much as I love 11s and I love small-sided. Those who play small-sided will say that there's nothing like it, because if you think about it logically, 11-a-side game is 22 players. You get the ball 1/20th of the time. Do you know what I mean? And in that 5%, 6%, you make things happen. Of course, you're doing things off the ball as well. Small four-sided, 10 players. If you're playing six-a-side, 12 players. So you're getting the ball a lot more. It's a lot more dynamic. It's fast-paced. You haven't got a moment to stand and walk around like you do in 11-a-side. There's a corner going on, and you're a centre-back, and you're standing there on the halfway line. There's none of that. In six-a-side, every single player for every single minute of that game is doing something, and it's important, because if you don't, you're a big percentage of your team. So I think that's the biggest difference, is that every second you're on the pitch, you've got to be fully on the ball. You can't be caught sleeping, and that's one of the big differences. And I think the other big difference, I think, is just on the ball. You have to be confident on the ball. I think in 11-a-side, if you're a winger, for example, you can have 30 dribbles at a fullback and beat him 3 times, and your team might get a goal. You might get man of the match. We won the game. Six-a-side, every dribble you don't make, that's just a potential chance that the other team's going to score, because such a small pitch, every losing the ball makes such a big difference. So it's a big accountability.
And for you, having 3,000 people watch you and represent England as well, how was that as an experience? Because it's completely different to what you would be normally playing.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you, it felt a bit surreal, the whole thing. Even when it came about, it just felt a bit surreal. And it was kind of one of those things where it was just take everything step by step. Don't get too carried away. I always kind of tried to do my football by the saying, like, don't get too high when you win, and don't get too low when you lose. So I think it was just one of them where just not trying to get too excited, too above myself, where I'm just like, oh my God, I'm playing for England, and then end up not putting the work in, or end up getting an injury and not being able to go, like, just stay relaxed with it all, kind of thing. And step by step, slowly got through the kind of trial process and saw myself flying for the World Cup, and it was just something else, man. Especially since I was able to have a lot of my family come over, and yeah, man, amazing experience, and hopefully I can carry that on with more World Cups and competitions with them.
For you, you obviously do coaching as well. What do you find is the main differences in coaching and playing, and what do you kind of want to do in the short-term future?
Play, I want to soak it out as much as I can. I want to stay fit and play football till as old as I can. I think I'm going to be one of those people who, when I'm 50 years old, I'm going to be playing small-sided with my mates, or with people down at goals, or whatever is going on over there, because I've never ever played football for money. I've never kind of chased a contract to play for a club. It's always just, I love playing football, and so that will always for me be above. But I think in the last year, since kind of having my own responsibility of my own coaching academy, I feel like I've definitely taken a lot of love into coaching, because you can, especially since it's my own thing, I can put in my beliefs of coaching young children, whereas I've coached for other academies. I coached for the Cobra Academy in America for 2 years, in North Carolina, and although that was good and I enjoyed that, I was still following someone else's mindset in coaching. I was following their path. I was following what they believe is going to help young children the best way to become footballers. And for me, I wasn't really on the same page, but I was working for them. So I think that's the big thing that I've kind of loved about coaching, is I can start to see improvements in these children, and more importantly, starting to see them fall in love with football. And for me, that's more important.
And you just you mentioned that you've been working overseas in America and in the UK. How have you found that, working in another country? Yeah.
So actually, I was in America for well, not well for work technically, but it was for a scholarship.
Hmm.
So when I was 17, I was on a trial at Tottenham with Chris Ramsey as the head of academy, and he released me at Tottenham, sent me to Wycombe Wanderers, and I remember at the time it was that kind of vital time football wise for players, especially in England where they're getting a kind of YTS, like a youth team scholar, at about 16 to 18. That's when you do your YTS, and that's when you kind of have to start making those big decisions. Whether are you going to make it pro? Are you not? If you're not, then what are you going to do? Where are you going to go? Are you quitting football? It's when a big age where a lot of kids end up falling out of love of football because a lot of these academies or a lot of teams they let players go. And for me, the American opportunity came around, and as I'd just been released from Tottenham, in my head I was like, you know what? Especially coming from Indian family background,
Hmm.
Parents are kind of getting on you, saying, "Listen, maybe you're not good enough, so you need to start thinking elsewhere." Yeah, we're all good. We're all good and well. You playing for these clubs and trialing for these clubs, but if they're saying no, then you've got to get yourself an education and do something with it. Like, do you know what I mean? And so for me, it was the best way of keeping them happy and also keeping myself feeling like I'm pushing towards the dream as well. So I think America for me was that middle ground, and it was good. It was good. I was there for 5 years. One thing I found about it was just the professionalism is ridiculous. Like you're playing for college, and certain games you've got about 15,000 people watching you.
Hmm.
Got a physio every time you like get a paper cut. You've got it's just ridiculous. Like it's very, very professional. You've got hotel, like for a friendly, you've got a 2-day hotel stay in some place because they want you to win the friendly. Whereas you don't get that kind of professionalism here until you actually crack into League 2, League 1. So they got a lot of money to invest in.
And for you, you just mentioned being released by Tottenham. You said like a lot of people would normally fall out of love with football at that point and maybe just pursue something else. What made you not want to do that? Was the love for football just still there?
Yeah, I think for me the love of football is always kind of overridden everything else. Don't get me wrong, like it's hard. It's hard when you're at most 16, 17 year olds, like they're not really, really, really mature,
Mm.
and I would say I was in that category, and it was just, it's hard because, every single day you go home and your parents and your brothers and your siblings, and they're like, "Oh yeah, man, you're the best, you're such a good footballer." Your friends at school are like, "Oh yeah, you're the best. So you're growing up like, "Yeah, I'm the best,
Yeah.
I'm wicked." And then some guy just tells you like, "Nah, you're not good enough for this club," and you're like, "Oh, like, I've always thought I'm the best." So like, it's a bit of a reality check. But I think if you're mature enough to take it in what it is, then it's good for you. It's good for you because you need to know that, listen, you're not going to just cruise through it and get a contract somewhere big. You've got to put the work in. And I think when I was younger, it was never putting the work in. It was just I loved football, so I didn't know I was putting the work in, but I was working hard, just playing football on the street and going to training and playing wherever I can. That was putting the work in. And for a lot of people who play now or even younger, like that, they're in similar boats. They're not playing because they're putting the work in. They just love football and they're just playing in the garden or they're playing on the street.
And for you, you said you come from like strict Indian parents and you're Indian, so there's not a lot of South Asian footballers that have come through and made it professionally. You've seen in the Premier League like Hamza Chowdhury, and then elsewhere like Sampreet Singh playing for Bayern Munich.
Munich, yeah.
Yeah. Why do you think that because I think that there's quite a lot of Asians maybe playing in the academies, but they never really make it through to the first team and play professionally. There's a lot of reasons, but why do you think that they don't maybe make it?
To be honest, I don't want it to come out that my parents are really strict or anything like that. To be honest, my family who I live with my auntie and uncle. If anything, they've been gems, and I would not, be position football wise where I am without them. So that's a given. But in terms of answering your question, so why is it that there's not enough footballers in the game? I just think it's lifestyle. I think a lot of I think it's slowly going to change. It's slowly going to change, and people like is it Sarpri?
Yeah, Sarpri.
People like Sarpri, people like Hamza, people like Jan Danda. I think big position footballers of those caliber are going to change mindset, but I think it falls down to things like mindset and lifestyle. Indian diets never been that good. Yeah, a lot of fried food. Typically, as you know, it's not really seen as, my son's going to be a professional footballer. It's that mindset of, no, my son's going to smash out his studies and become a engineer, accountant, doctor, whatnot. And I just think, although that's amazing, that's good, mindset is to become successful in your education. It's not the be all and end all. There's other avenues, and I think pushing sports from a young age, I think is starting to become, well, from what I'm seeing anyway, as a school teacher, it's starting to become important for parents. They want their children to be achieving in different areas, and I think once we start to see that across the board, we'll definitely see more Asians in the game, and then hopefully changing the mindsets of people in the game as well, changing managers within clubs, who unfortunately don't believe that Indians, Asians, Pakistanis are good enough. I think once players like Sarpri, get up there in World Team of the Year nominations, or Hamza Chowdhury starts cracking it into England and start playing games, and people are going to be like, oh, actually, let's look closer to home where Hamza Chowdhury is. Let's look players like that, because he's killing it right now.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what it is. It's changing the mindset within the organisation, within people in football, and then also just changing habits, lifestyles, and the mindset of people outside the organisation, the actual Asians themselves. I think, and then hopefully by doing that, it will slowly become, something that we don't even think about, that Asians are just flooding the game.
For you personally, did you ever find anything that, for you being Indian, did it ever hold you back, or was it not anything else?
Yeah, definitely. I think I've definitely played with other Asian players. Who I've thought, wow, that's a talent right there, like proper talent. Whether it be their technical ability, their unbelievable pace, strength, whatever, heading, whatever it is, like just normal kind of football attribute, which I've been wowed by. And soon enough they've been out of the game and stopped playing. And I definitely think a lot of those Asians who that's been the case has been for probably some of the reasons that we talked about, like whether their parents are strict and they said, listen, that's enough now, you're 16, you need to stop playing football the way you're playing it and start focusing on other things, or they've had a bad experience and and just kind of gone off the sea with it, kind of because they thought, oh, it's not worth my time if I'm going to be playing and getting mocked for it or getting abused by it. I think in my own experience, I've experienced it quite a lot, I would say. I've experienced racism quite a lot, but I've never really cared in that sense. I've always kind of been brought up by a good family who have just said to me, listen, like, why would you let that bother you? You can't let other people's ignorance bother you. Like, that's them being ignorant. If anything, you need to like help them to not be ignorant.
Yeah.
You know, help them to understand that there's a better way of thinking, rather than that you getting angry about it and causing a fight, or you stopping playing, because then like how have you helped the situation there? You've not done any good to anyone or anything. So I think I've experienced it in a few games in England. Definitely I didn't experience anything racism in America. I think it's quite diverse over there. A lot of the team, a lot of the kind of South of America teams over there kind of think if you're brown, you're from Mexico anyway. So they kind of just associate that. So yeah, I think the biggest problems I've had have been here, but just have to deal with it.
And for, you know, young Asian players that are probably maybe struggling, or they don't know how to cope with sort of maybe the racism or family or something, what would you say to them? Like, just your advice.
It's hard, man. It's hard. You know, because a lot of people, it can affect people in different ways. So it's hard in that sense. And, you know, I would hate for anyone to kind of go through it, especially now, you know, as times are changing. But yeah, it's going to happen. It's going to happen to some kids. And I think my advice would just be, you know, you have to just carry on doing your graft, carry on, you know, working at your trade. If it's football, carry on working at it, and just, you have to understand that there's going to be ignorant people out there. You can't stop that. You can't control what other people say. You can't control that thing, but you know, live by the motto that just control the controllables.
Mm-hmm.
The things that you can control, things that you can do, just control that well. Put your work in. Try and help people. If it's your close people to you, try and help them understand. You know, if you're a brown person with some white friends in your circle, ignorant white friends, try and help them first. Do you know what I mean? It's changing mindset, it's changing lifestyle, and yeah, man, I think we'll get there. I think we'll get there, and I think it's just a matter of time. And I'm starting to see progress, even just working at the school, seeing the parents' mindset starting to change, starting to see that, oh, my kid, you know, he can get a trial at Reading. I didn't know that was possible.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he can make a life out of playing for Reading. I didn't know that was possible. You know, starting to see parents' minds turning, starting to see that kind of change, and hopefully it'll happen across the board, and we'll be sitting here in 5 years' time with a lot more Hamza Chowdhury's.
Okay, thank you for watching, thank you for listening. Remember to like, comment, share and subscribe. Remember to follow Arjun, Instagram, Twitter, whatever.
Yeah, man, follow me. I've been trying to post more stuff on Instagram as well recently, so yeah, man, get following.
Yeah, link will be in the description. Thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and see you.